Oh boy, here we go. SAG-AFTRA files charge against Epic Games over Fortnite's AI Darth Vader. This is from Game Rant by Ashley Claudino. SAG-AFTRA affirms that Epic Games acted unfairly by replacing workers with artificial intelligence technology to create the Darth Vader NPC added to Fortnite with patch V35.10 on May 16th. Fortnite released an update for Galactic Battle, its Star Wars-themed mini-season. Gamers had been waiting for an update for 2 weeks, so they were eagerly anticipating the new content that would come with the patch. Gamers have been waiting for an update for 2 weeks? Is fucking Fortnite getting updated like every week? Jesus Christ.
It gets updated very, very often.
God, that content loop is insane.
It's on top, or
eagerly anticipated new content that would come with the patch. They became even more excited when the leaks that were published before servers came back up revealed that an AI-powered Darth Vader would be added to Fortnite. As soon as the patch went live and servers were back, players quickly got into a match and looked for him at his possible spawn location so they could fight him and get him to join their team. As the first talking companion in Fortnite, fans immediately started testing what Darth Vader would respond to and what subject matters he would avoid. Epic Games used AI to replicate James Earl Jones' voice, rest in peace, the most iconic actor to voice Darth Vader. SAG-AFTRA was quite displeased with this because instead of resorting to human workers to program and create this interactive Darth Vader AI, Epic simply used artificial intelligence. It claims that by doing so, it took away the jobs of humans, which is why SAG-AFTRA is filing an unfair labor practice charge against Llama Productions, Fortnite's signatory company. What is signatory, Connor? Do you know what that is?
Signature, like it's your mainstay.
Signatory? All right, cool. Even though James Earl Jones' family has commented that they are okay with Epic Games' decision to bring James back through AI to voice Darth Vader, this does not change the fact that it could have employed people if it didn't rely solely on AI tech. By not speaking with the union prior to releasing the NPC, it is considered that Epic Games refused to bargain with SAG-AFTRA, taking away their option to negotiate terms and conditions about the AI character. While artificial intelligence can be a highly effective tool for a variety of purposes, it is also an extremely controversial topic in certain communities because every day it is costing more people their jobs, contributing to a higher unemployment rate. While the addition of an AR Darth Vader to Fortnite sounds like great fun, it has already sparked a lot of discussion and has become a source of anger among gamers. Not only because of this potentially unfair practice, but also because streamers and players quickly started and succeeded in making it say a mouthful of inappropriate words and sentences.
And you know, one thing that kind of annoys me about this is the family said it's okay for them to use his voice. There's some kind of monetary gain from that, isn't there? Like when you use something like that.
I mean, I'm sure they're getting
like it's kind of hard
for it.
Yeah, so it seems like that's a bad way to gauge whether this is the proper thing to do.
Yeah, the family and the estate have said that Jones has stated that he's okay with AI imitating his voice because he believes the character of Darth Vader is so iconic that it should be allowed for all generations and this, that, and the third. So you can always use his voice for Darth Vader is their take. This is not the first time AI has been involved in producing the voice of Darth Vader. The Kenobi show on Disney Plus used a combination of James Earl Jones and AI to sort of imitate a younger version of him that kind of fit more within the timeline of their show and this, that, and the third. And I don't know. I'm really conflicted on this. I probably just land on the side of recasting is fine. Like, we get it. It's part of the human nature and human life. Sometimes these characters outlive their actors. This is a case of that, where Darth Vader's going to be in popular culture for the rest of our lives. So it doesn't make sense that James Earl Jones, who died at the age of, like, I think he was, like, pushing 90.
He was 90.
Yeah.
It's worrisome because of where the industry's going and just kind of specifically the more corporate side of things, too broadly accepting AI, and you're going to see it be more implemented in egregious ways, even if you can justify saying, well, James Earl Jones' family, because did you say that about his family said it was okay, or he himself also said it was
This
okay?
article says the family. I read a quote from the estate that said Jones said it was cool.
Which
before,
again, you can
before he passed, which would make sense because they did it in Kenobi.
Yeah, that is true. But I remember something like Stan Lee. We know that his family was kind of abusing uh, what he would be okay with by taking advantage of his older age. Now, James Earl Jones, from my understanding, didn't have that problem because, again, Stan Lee seemed like he was having some mental problems, just basic things you would have when you're getting older,
Yeah, getting
and
old.
that could have allowed for manipulating him. And I don't know
Yeah.
if that was the same case here. It's. I remember seeing one comment on Twitter when I was scrolling it that they fear that the argument against AI is already over. That it's already it's going to be a thing from here on out, and not in the ways we like to idealize to, make it to where it's easier to develop video games, for example, but just cases like this, where you're just going to have, maybe without the concession of the original voice actor, to use their voice in AI form after they're passed. It didn't happen the same exact way, because I don't think it was related to AI, but Carrie Fisher, her being used in some Star Wars property after she had already died, didn't sit with fans very well. And I just think it's going to kind of, take some of the humanity out of video games to implement AI in this fashion. By the way, James Earl Jones was 93.
I don't know. To the Carrie Fisher point, I'm not quite sure which prop. I mean, I guess episode 9 used already recorded footage of her and sort of repurposed and retooled it for the purposes of the plot of that movie. And it didn't work very well. But that's, because the movie's also not very good. But she did also die right. I want to say she died like right after Rogue One came out, Carrie Fisher. So then her role in Last Jedi was already solidified also. And then obviously episode 9 came out like 2-3 years later. So yeah, it could get a little tricky there. Maybe she was involved in like a show or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like when a character becomes so iconic that it kind of like supersedes the actor. Like, I get it. Like in the very individual case of Darth Vader, I get it. I don't think it's necessary. I think you still could have hired somebody and they would have done a fine job. We've done it before, and they've done fine. Darth Vader has been voiced by a bunch of people, and it's more often than not, it's fine. You can usually tell it's not James Earl Jones, but not enough to break you from the immersion of the fiction, And I think like, and you can make like an argument that like, oh, we don't do this for the Joker. Like if Mark Hamill dies, like we're not going to start puppeteering Mark Hamill's Joker around, which I get that argument as well. But comic books also have the advantage of being able to reset their canon every time they start something new.
And that's more of a case. He was just the most popular iteration of Joker. There's tons of other ones. He wasn't even the first. Whereas Darth Vader was James Earl Jones. Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones. You associate the actor with that role inherently, no matter what.
Yeah, Indiana Jones is actually a great example of that, where like Harrison Ford, as Indiana Jones is a thing. I imagine we're gonna get some AI stuff. They used AI to like de-age him in the last movie, didn't they? Or I could be talking out of my ass on that point. But
sure,
Troy Baker, Troy Baker just did a phenomenal Indiana Jones performance where he performed as Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones, but still Indiana Jones, and did a great job. You're like, the human can do this. The human being can do this, especially in art forms where you don't need the face. So yeah, I don't think this is necessary. I think if I worry about AI. If we let one through, we could potentially let them all through. So when it comes to things like this, I do think SAG-AFTRA should go after this. But I also think it's perfectly within the right of the family to say, no, this is okay, and we allow this. It's a little bit of a messy situation. I don't like it. But I also like, there's a lot of things in life I don't like that are perfectly fine,
You're just an AI sympathizer.
Yeah, sure. Put me in that camp. Yeah, sure. I don't even like when my family sends me AI memes where they're like, "Hey, I turned myself into a baby." I'm like, "Why did you do that? Like, why would you do that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just cool." And I'm like, Or I made I made my 5-year-old grandson look like what he would look like in 20 years. And I'm like, I don't like that. We're not supposed to have that technology. One, we're not supposed to have that technology as human beings. And two, like the environmental impact with AI and the like, just all the problems with the AI. Like, it's just like, why are you doing this? Like, it just looks gross.
I'm looking something up real quick because this is, so the U.S. National Security Agency has a machine that they recently created that they named Skynet. Now, clearly, anybody with a semblance of what that is supposed to inherently mean is we're going to get taken over by machines.
Art
now
becomes reality.
Yes, and that's kind of the issue, is that why I think the fight's almost already lost, because we could sit here and argue against it as reasonably as possible and be joined in by a number of other people, but at the end of the day, the bulk of just regular people are accepting AI without even really having an issue with it. They don't think in the broader terms of what that might mean. They think very much in the now. Most people do.
I don't agree with that personally, because one, I think fights just take a long time, and fights are fights, and you have to fight them for a long time. Like, AI's only really been around in a dangerous, quote unquote, dangerous way for a couple of years now. Like, to say the fight is over is premature in my mind. I'm not saying that the result is going to change. I just saying it's a little premature to do that. And also, yeah, most people don't think about that. Most people aren't supposed to think about that. It's up to these unions and these lawmakers and these all these other things to notify that when somebody pushes a boundary, to go, a little too far, bring it back, and let's draw a line here now. Nobody makes a sign before somebody breaks a rule. Like, you don't know. There's never a sign for no running at the pool until somebody runs and slips and falls and cracks their head enough time at the pool to where they go, we should put a sign up. Like, that's just that's how human nature works, is people push the boundary until we as a collective decide that's too far. Let's bring it back.
And I hope that that'll be continued to be reined in when it reaches over those boundaries. But like all emerging technologies, we'll see the effects of it as time goes on.